Welcome back to Market to Market. Have you ever heard of social entrepreneurship? Is your organization a social enterprise? This week in Marketplace 101, Sallyann Della Casa, founder of the Growing Leaders Foundation, talks to us about social enterprise. Sally, tell us a bit about yourself and what inspired you to start Growing Leaders Foundation.
Growing Leaders Foundation is really kind of a culminary of everything I've done in my past. The foundation focuses on growing leaders out of youth in developing countries. Why? It's really important to understand the why of what I'm doing. If you look around today, government, corporate, even in our families here, let's take Trinidad and Tobago. What's the problem? It's a leadership issue. And if we don't address that, we can do all of these band-aids of, programs and, funneling dollars and shifting people around. But if we don't really address the issue of changing leadership and what it means and making sure we all identify with it, and it's not something out there because of a title and what you drive and the way you look, but it's something that is a birthright really of all of us, then we really can't transform society. So that's why the foundation exists. As to why I'm the one doing it, I guess in many ways I grew up. I have one relative, from Trinidad. I grew up until I was a younger person in Trinidad, till I was 8 or 9, and then I had the opportunity of being abroad for my entire life. My dad passed away 2.5 years ago, and I came back and I remember talking to a young person asking, "What's your talent and gift?" And there was like a blank stare. They couldn't even answer a simple question of, what are you good at? If you ask a typical young person that is performing really, really well on SCA, what are your dreams? Who do you want to be? And how does that relate to what, you might not be good at or good at? They will kind of tell you this answer of, I want to be a doctor, a lawyer, and it's not them, it's their parents. So for me, I started off in life as a lawyer. And my talent and gift is actually what I do with this foundation. It's my ability to connect, my ability to take really complicated things and make it simple. And I didn't find the courage to pursue that until I was in my 30s. So in many ways, I live what the foundation stands for, finding the courage and giving young people the tools to go out there and pursue their area of gift and talent so they can be great leaders. Because you cannot be a great leader unless you're in your area of gift. And many of us never find the courage to pursue our area of gift. So it all kind of interconnects for me.
One of the key areas of focus for you is social enterprise or social entrepreneurship. What exactly, though, is social enterprise or social entrepreneurship?
Social enterprise, it's very, very simple, actually. It's you can be a for-profit company or a not-for-profit company, and you are reporting a triple bottom line. What does that mean? Not only are you reporting financially, you're reporting also socially and environmentally. And you can be a double bottom line social enterprise or a triple. A lot of people add that environmental element to it. Why is that of key for me and in terms of what I do? The leaders that I'm growing are socially conscious human beings. Look around at society today and the people making impact. Richard Branson, Bill Clinton. Look at what they are investing in. They're investing in young people with brilliant ideas that not only will be profitable and entrepreneurial, but that will transform the world in any particular area. So I'll give you an example. Bill Clinton has something called the Hult Prize every year, a partnership where they give $1 million to a young person who comes up with this brilliant idea how to solve a particular issue. Last year, the issue was food security. Huge issue across the world for all of us. Now, a lot of times we leave it up to governments to solve that problem, or we might leave it up to companies in the food industry. But what he does, and which is really interesting, is, okay, let me get a lot of young people with ideas. They're going to come up with ideas we cannot think about, and I will invest in that particular business that will not only be an entrepreneurial, profitable business, but it will also solve a social issue of the world. So social enterprise is using entrepreneurial business skills, and within your company, profit or not for profit, it's almost like a hybrid, I'm going to address and solve a social issue once and for all in the community. And it can be anything. It can be education, it can be I'll give you an example of a power and light company in the US where they actually take a portion of the revenues from their bills and they do solar panels in all the schools all over America. Or Stonyfield Yogurt. Stonyfield Yogurt is a $100 million company. They have 7% of the US market in the yogurt industry. But they have edible now packages. So they're very environmentally conscious. They're actually reducing right now the carbon footprint of a cow. I mean, just really, really cool stuff. So social enterprise is where the business world is heading. CSR, corporate social responsibility.
That would have been my next question. How does it differ from corporate social responsibility?
Mm-hmm. It's actually, I think corporate social responsibility is going to, be dead in a couple of years. And for a couple of reasons. So corporate social responsibility is your company deciding that, every year we're going to either sponsor something, we're going to be philanthropic and, donate to a charity, or we're going to do a beach cleanup, or our employees are going to volunteer doing certain things during the year. The problem with corporate social responsibility is it's been really abused. How many times have you looked in the paper and all you see is the executive standing there with like a photo of them and a check? Corporate social responsibility in the majority of companies is through their marketing department. It's almost like we're going to be caught with our hand in the cookie jar, but yes, we'll give Christmas presents to kids who need. So it's really been abused as a marketing tool. What is happening is you're having a really conscious group of citizens coming up this generation. I would like to think we're playing a part of that in Trinidad and Tobago with our growing leaders. I mean, ours are, we're teaching them how to protest and speak up for yourselves, and we're teaching them to be sustainable. A lot of our schools now are going to have vertical school gardens. I mean, you're having a very educated population coming up with buying power, and they want to know what your company stands for and your values of your company. So it's not only am I going to support and buy what it is you have, but you better be connecting with me emotionally in terms of how I see the world and how are you making this world a better place. It's a whole different spin. It's almost like you're bringing the social impact in your DNA. Your employees are not there only because of the paycheck. They are there because of what that company stands for. So huge difference.
What is the difference then between a company that just gives back to its community and social enterprise?
A company that just gives back through philanthropy means that they are not fixing the problem. So let's assume you're giving to a home in your community, or you're investing in homework programs. You are not fixing the root of the problem. As long as you continue to write that check to that home or that community center or that NGO, that's how long it will, that's the only time this project you're working on will thrive. If you want to fix the root cause of a social issue, it then becomes a social enterprise, because you're going to put your same business hat you're putting on in the boardroom and say, why is it children in this community, let's give the example of, let's say, a homework room and that you're sustaining. Why is it that they're not having the support to be able to get their homework? Is there an issue? Is there a family issue happening? Is there some other issue happening in the community? How do we address the root cause of the issue versus, well, we know there's a problem. I'm going to blindly not look at addressing the problem, but yes, from 2 to 4 o'clock, I'll make sure they have somewhere to go. It's really a big difference. It's really using that business savvy that you have, just how you would fix an issue in your company and fixing a social issue. I mean, let's face it, the government is not doing a great job at it. And this is not only here, this is globally. Social enterprise is taking off globally, and there's, it's transforming the way we do business, because a lot of young people now, they want to change the world. And they want to make sure that we're doing it, that it's not that we're changing it, we're transforming it. And there's a difference, and I always like to stress what that difference is. We all talk about change, but you can always change back. Change is kind of like a rubber band, right? It can go back. How many times have you heard in politics or a company, a new person comes on board and they kind of go, well, I want to change it back to the way it was before. Transformation is a whole other thing. You're dealing with the root. It's kind of like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. You can't go back. And that's what social enterprise does. It's dealing with that root issue to transform how a society functions in terms of corporate, how companies function within that society.
Is social enterprise then self-sustaining?
Absolutely. So to be a social entrepreneur, one of the first things I always talk to individuals about is I'm not asking you to be an NGO. I'm not asking you to not make profit. Actually, to be a successful social enterprise, you have to actually be a good business person. You have to be able to put that business hat on, because actually you need to be profitable as a social enterprise to create the revenue stream to address the social issue. And remember that addressing the social issue doesn't have to be the core purpose of why your company exists. So there are some social enterprises, it takes many forms. Social enterprise is not like you check a box when you're forming a company and you say, I want to be a social entrepreneur. It's actually an approach to doing business. Now, many companies in the UK and Canada, they put their social purpose in their bylaws to qualify for different types of funding. We're not there yet. Maybe we'll be there one day soon. But what it actually does in terms of being sustainable, that's the actual goal, because you can't really put a dent in a particular social issue if you're not running the business well. That's where the NGOs and the not-for-profit world has really, I don't want to say fail, but has kind of, they hit road bumps very often, is because they can't continue the work until somebody gives them a next check or a next donation or a grant comes in. And that is really a huge hurdle. So social enterprise removes all of that from it.
How should a company decide on social enterprise initiatives to undertake?
It's a really personal thing. And one of the first things I say to companies, I'm not asking you to go create a whole new business. That's the first thing. You want me to create a whole other company? No. Go to the company and go to management, whether it's a small company or a larger company. What are you passionate about? Is there something within your business that naturally means you're impacting something? And let me give you an example. So a perfect example would be a company we deal with, and I actually just mentioned it to you a little while ago, Nature Seekers. They deal with the environment. They are also, because they clean up the beaches and they protect the turtles, one of the things they do is they come up with a lot of glass, a lot of bottles, a lot of littering. They decided, they were collecting it anyway, they've now decided to take that glass and to be able to convert it, and they train the women in the community to make that glass into glass beads, and they're putting out a jewelry line which will be sold and will create an income stream. So that's a natural link. Let me give you an unnatural link. You're a distribution company here in Trinidad, and you're thinking, okay, well, what issue am I going to be able to impact as a distribution company? You're actually the perfect candidate for ethical sourcing. Who are you getting your products from? If it's foreign countries, have you ever gone to those countries and see the work conditions of those individuals? I'll give you an example of SAB Miller, Impala Bear, for-profit company. They came up with a different type of beer they can make out of cassava. So they went and purchased a subsidiary in Mozambique that employs 1,500 farmers in a cassava farm, and they now have Impala, this global bear that not only provides employment, but it provides a distribution channel for cassava that was being thrown away. So there are many different ways it can be a new product area that you want to go into. I mean, it can take many different forms. A lot of times it has to start with something that you're passionate about. And let me tell you, I've been meeting with many business people here in Trinidad and Tobago, and there's not a single one of them, and when you actually have the conversation, there's some area that, little sparks kind of go off, and they kind of deal with it in a way of saying, oh, well, I kind of do that with charity, or I'm kind of touching on it, but I'm not going to tell anyone about it. And when you actually talk to them about how do you bring that into what you can wear that as the value you put on every morning, not only you, but your company, to come to work and say, not only are we a great company, but here's what we stand for, other than, yes, we'll deliver great service, a great product, or something else, but here's what we stand for in terms of a social value.
You've given companies an opportunity to join with you in the Growing Leaders Foundation. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. So the foundation, how we work, implementing and training youth in Trinidad and Tobago, and last year we impacted 13,732 youth. We do it through company CSR volunteer programs. What does that mean? So I would go into a particular company, one of our companies here in Trinidad, for example, is Repsol. They have a volunteerism program. Now, volunteerism programs where all you do is you go one time and clean up a beach, it doesn't really have a lot of impact on your staff. Yeah, we feel good about it, but are you really making a difference? So what we do is we train their staff in leadership. They sign up for us to manage their volunteer programs for the year. We train their staff in leadership and then pair them to a classroom, standard 4 or 5 in Trinidad and Tobago, for the entire school year, and 1 hour per month they go out and they teach leadership. The best way to learn is to teach, right? Kind of like when you teach, you learn twice. And it's really interesting because a lot of times companies pay for their staff to go to all of these training sessions, and they get all of these lovely manuals and books, and they go back to the office and they put it on the shelf, and that's the end of that. When you're forcing them by teaching them and then putting them in front of a bunch of 9 to 12-year-olds to teach what they just learned for an hour every month, it sticks. So a lot of the companies that have signed up with us, and we do have, a great, we have some amazing companies here in Trinidad and Tobago, PowerGen and Flow and Holiday Snacks and Angostura, and their staff has gotten so much more out of this because they are forced to really rethink their own interpretation of leadership as they're teaching it to the next generation.
Would that be considered a form of social enterprise, though?
I think in many ways, the foundation is a non-donor dependent foundation, meaning we do not accept cash donations, and we operate as a social enterprise. So the companies that sign up, they pay a fee for the year, and through our publication, we have a publication called Lead Up also. But yes, in many ways, people often ask, well, why is the foundation even involved in social enterprise? It's because we actually are not only operating in that way, but we've kind of indirectly been steering the companies who volunteer to us in that direction.
How can interested companies or persons, individuals allowed to join?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Individuals are actually the life of the foundation, other than the companies, of course, because what happens is the individuals, there's so many people that are transitioning or kind of thinking of going and starting up their own company, and I can't tell you how many of them we have in the foundation, and to be able to add value to where they are and then see them succeed, and they go multiply the message kind of tenfold. I do have to tell you that most of the people come to the foundation, companies, or individuals, because of their experience. So yes, how do you sign up and come? You can go to our website, growingleadersfoundation.com, and there you will actually find the sign up for, we have training every couple of months. And then we have staff here in Trinidad and Tobago that will do the matching and pairing and handhold you through the whole process. So we don't kind of release you out there. We handhold you through the process. Social enterprise, we're having a social enterprise hive December 1st through the 5th. Very excited about that. It will be the first for Trinidad and Tobago. We actually held one. We have great partnerships in Dubai. So we had our first one with the Dubai partners, where we were, honored to be a part of, in February this year. They will be participating. Hopefully we can Skype in a lot of those individuals who participated out there here to give people in the Caribbean real access to what's happening out in that part of the world. So that's happening. So that's what we're working on right now. So the process we're going through right now is interviewing closet social entrepreneurs in Trinidad and Tobago. And I say closet social entrepreneurs because we have so many businesses with good, decent individuals actually impacting the community, but they kind of always thought, well, that's the charity that I'm doing. That really can't be part of my business. You know, very profitable companies. And it's almost like they're embarrassed to say, you know, I do these other things. So one of the things is kind of getting them to merge it and understand the concept of social enterprise. I know you're not soft if you say I'm a social entrepreneur, and really kind of curate them to get ready for Social Enterprise Week. So it's really been a fun time.
You'll be hosting a Social Enterprise Week here in Trinidad at the end of 2013. Could you tell us a bit about that and how perhaps closet companies who are involved in social enterprise or don't know that they're really social entrepreneurs get involved in that?
I would be more than happy to talk about that. The event is going to be December 1st through 5th, and it's going to be a series of afternoon sessions from 6:30 to 8. We're dealing with 5 topics. So we're going to talk about, you know, ethical art, ethical business, ethical education, ethical food, and ethical environment. And we're going to set up a bunch of moderated panels. So that way the public really kind of gets solid information if in fact they think they can be a social entrepreneur, or if they are, get some tips how to thrive. For anyone who's interested in being a part of that, they can go to our same website, growingleadersfoundation.com. By the end of September, a full schedule will be up, and if there are any closet social entrepreneurs out there, contact us. I would be more than happy to meet with you and even work with you to get there, to be ready for Social Enterprise Week.
Your fingerprint is one of the best passwords in the world. It's always with you, and no two are exactly alike. So it made perfect sense to create a simple, seamless way to use it as a password.